Hello, gamers. Welcome back to another episode of the Cuddlepunk podcast. I am your host, the mastermind, Veronica Vext. With me today, we have a very, very special guest today. Oh, baby, it's a good one. You all know it's a good one. You guys read the title. Blind Equation is here. James, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. You, my dude, have had a very busy last couple of days. You were at free show at the Empty Bottle last night as we're recording this, and you had Burn Bright Milwaukee over the weekend as well. You're one of the local bands here that does shows every single week, it seems like.
Oh yeah. It's kind of just turned into that at this point.
Tell me about Burn Bright Milwaukee. It's like one of those newer festivals, like newer DIY festivals that's just been popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the first year. JJ, who books a lot of the shows in Milwaukee, shout out JJ Kaiser, uh, probably one of the best promoters like in Milwaukee, and like is a huge plays a huge part of why Milwaukee scene is like kind of popping right now. But he's been kind of like scheming this fest for quite a while. Like I think he reached out to me like around like September or October of last year to play this, maybe even sooner, honestly. Yeah, and I mean like it's kind of like the first fest that he's sort of like put together at X-Ray Arcade, which is like the kind of like 300-ish cap that venue in Milwaukee. Yeah, no, but the fest itself was fucking amazing. We definitely like kind of stood out, you know. I think we were the only band the entire weekend that like didn't have a vocalist like with that was also playing guitar at the same time. Like I was, just kind of running around doing my usual thing. Also, as you can see, I'm petting my cat right now.
Yeah, we're gonna
Is
have to zoom in on that guy right there. What's the cat's name?
Badger.
Hey, Badger. Hey, buddy.
He's chilling. He's so comfy
He's
right
chilling.
now. I don't know. The whole weekend was just like really good vibes, and I saw a lot of bands that I really like this really like. Shout out Hey I Love You and shout out Ben Quad.
I got
And
to see Ben Quad for the first time in December on the Hot Mulligan tour. They blew me away. I don't know how they do that shit live.
no, they're fucking insane. I saw them at book club like last year, and like I was just like, this band's like not gonna be playing like 50 cap rooms forever. And
No.
yeah, that band's
I
fucking
got to see them
insane.
play a sold out show at the fucking Aragon. It was insane.
That's crazy, insane. And they're all just like sweethearts, and yeah, love that band.
Shout out to
Uh,
Ben Quad always. And then yesterday you had the free show at the Empty Bottle. I see a lot of these free local shows coming up at places like Empty Bottle or Shuba's or I think Beat Kitchen does them sometimes. When it comes to free shows, how does it differ in terms of people showing up and you making money versus a show that people do have to buy tickets for?
yeah, so I mean, this is honestly like the first free show that I played in a couple years, honestly. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever played a free show. Maybe. I can't remember, but anyways, it was a free show. As far as like payment, like they just kind of give you like a flat fee because they know they're gonna like make sales at the bar and like you kind of just get paid more the more people order stuff at the bar, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, free show on a Monday, like usually there's not many other shows happening on Mondays, but in this case, there was another show happening on Monday with like sign language and price horse, but that did really well too. But yeah, I wasn't sure with how the tournament was going to be because we just played a show at Lincoln Hall like last weekend, and but no, like I think it was like over 200 people like through the door, and like there's still like a really good amount of people like that stuck around for our set, and I don't know. It was fucking insane. And also like Excrucis and Nude were on the bill too, and they both like fucking blew my mind. And yeah, I mean, people moved around. It was just like overall really fun, wholesome experience. I was like pretty tired, after Bird Bright, but like because it was like the day after Bird Bright. Definitely like once like bands started playing, I started to get a second wind of energy, and I think we sounded very good. Yeah.
Your guys' live show seems just absolutely insane. I need to get to one of these days. You also have a weird tendency of going viral with your show clips. Like I remember seeing ones when the Lincoln Hall show happened, like just people going crazy with the LH in the background. Or specifically, I remember a friend of mine when you guys played Beat Kitchen with Thought Crime. when you guys ended up on craziest moments in new metal history. Like one of the bands like coming out ended that mosh pit to Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit ended up getting on that Twitter site. That's you guys have a really interesting habit of just being like online wherever anybody needs to be for DIY.
No, thank you so much. And also that was Bajalvin that did the break stuff, but it was on our show. But still it's just crazy still that like, something that we hosted sort of, made it rounds, beyond our circle, That's just always very cool. But yeah, no, thank you. It's really cool. I don't know, like I just like we all just kind of give it our all when we perform live and like I'm just like,
You
oh,
absolute bastard. Get out of my I
oh,
love you so much. You can't be in the shot. You're going to
oh my
turn off my
God.
thing and mommy's going to be very mad.
Looks almost like my
Oh good, he's
cat.
getting fed
Oh,
now. Thank God. Come on, buddy.
hell yeah.
Move aside.
But yeah, I
The
mean,
cats are just taking over this episode. I don't know how we're going to get anything done.
I don't know either. I have like half of a brain just because I'm like focusing on like petting him and he's just like straight up chilling and like yeah, I'm
I
about it.
also when it comes to like online stuff, I was listening to your episode of Heavy Matters earlier today.
Oh
Shout
yeah,
out to Heavy Matters. They're a really great
shout out.
heavy music podcast out of the
Oh
UK.
yeah, love them.
How are you
They were
guys
super.
getting like recognized outside of the country at this point? I feel like that's something that like the local bands haven't really been able to crack just yet.
Yeah, I I couldn't tell you. I think it's just like online stuff and also like our label Prosthetic like has a lot of like distribution in the UK because like half the staff is like based in the UK and half is like in America. So like I just feel like naturally like we do get like a decent amount of press like in like the UK and like there's just like one Finland like website that like posts this all the time, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean partially that, but also like I just feel like the internet, just like Instagram, Twitter. I think just Twitter is like a big one. I don't know exactly how, it gets to people in other countries. And also we did like a interview with a Japanese magazine. That was a really fun interview. Like I had a really good time just like answering what they had to say. Like they posted on Twitter and got like a shit ton of likes. And I was like, holy shit, like it's one thing, when like someone shares your music and like you get like a couple followers, but like it seemed like we genuinely like kind of gained some sort of fan base over there from that interview, which was really cool. I mean, just a lot of factors, I just been kind of doing the thing and doing it as much as I can and the best I can and just seeing what happens.
It's clearly paying off. Your guys' stuff is incredible. You're
Thank
also
you.
like because of the genre that you're in, Cybergrind, you also tend to show up on trans girl Twitter a lot, which is a very important part of Twitter that you and we appreciate you for being so very chill about that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, 100%.
We
I'm all about
appreciate
it.
it's not always the case. Thank God fucking Radkey's Twitter got deactivated today.
Oh, 100%. That's a huge win. I hope it stays that way for a little bit longer, or a lot longer.
Let's talk about Cybergrind a little bit more. Like I am friends with a decent amount of people who I would say like qualify as Cybergrind bands. Like friendly with Anita Velveeta, friendly with the Kitty Litter
Oh yeah.
people.
Hmm.
They're all fantastic, all in like the Midwest side of things. I kind of want to ask, like, is there a difference when it comes to like Cybergrind versus Nintendocore? Do you purposely like mix those two together, or is there more of like, is it just like are Nintendocore and Cybergrind one and the same to you at this point?
Okay, this is very complicated. Because, okay, so
It's genre
we're
breakdown. Of course it is. This is what
oh
the
my
people
God.
want.
All
They
right, I'm
want
gonna
in-depth
ramble.
discussions on like the parameters of genre.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go into this like quite a bit. Okay. So Nintendo Core is like not really a real genre, uh, but it is at the same time. And like the Nintendo Core that I like is like the more cyber grind side because I mean I feel like there's like cyber grind that like mixes elements of Nintendo Core, and like Bubblegum Octopus, Go with 14.0, just like metalcore, but like it's all like done on the computer pretty much. Like and it's not like a group of people that just get together and like they have a synth player that plays like the synth lines but they do the chugs and they have a drummer and stuff like.
Because
And
Blind
there's like
Equation is
Nintendo.
just you writing the stuff and like making it in Pro Tools or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Cubase and Logic, if anyone's wondering. But anyways, like because there's Nintendocore where like it's just basically like post-hardcore or like metalcore, but like there's like a chiptune synth over that. But there's also Nintendocore where like I feel like it like blurs the line between it's like metalcore, but like all made on a computer, like sometimes with even programmed guitars. But like it can be a little bit more digital, but like also that can be considered cybergrind. Like I personally consider like Bubblegum Octopus like a cybergrind band more than a Nintendo Core band because like I feel like Matt like doesn't just like cling on to like these like video game sounding synths, also like drives a lot of influential like breakcore, IDM, and all that kind of stuff. But it's so with my music, like all my releases like up until now like have had like pretty much exclusively like chiptune synths. However, like I feel like with every genre, there's a certain like imagery and aesthetic that's associated with it. With Nintendo Core, there's a lot of like bright imagery, pixelated imagery, like sometimes just straight up like video game characters in the album artwork, shit like that. There's a ton of examples. Like you just look up Nintendo Core and you'll find shit like that. Sometimes it doesn't even sound anything
Is there
like
a
one
Blind
Nintendo.
Equation cover of Rainbow Road that we don't know about that never got
Oh
released?
God, don't even don't even get me started on I Am Error. And I feel like both genres have like gone through evolutions. With my music, at least, like a lot of people like called myself Nintendo Core, even though that's not what I was trying to make. And then part of me like switched to just like chiptune synths just because like I was tired of using the stock synths that were associated with like Cubase LE, and also just like I didn't really like know where else to look for synths. And also like I feel like a lot of chiptune synths like you can write like really complex shit and like a lot of 16-second, 32-second like notes on it, and like it doesn't like ring out too much. And like I can like layer a lot of things together like without it sounding messy. But anyways, I like even though like if people call me Nintendo Core, I'm just like sure, whatever. But like um I try to like have it sound like a lot of those like MySpace artists that I really enjoyed back then. But like with my like aesthetic and like imagery, like just a lot more darker, a lot pulling more from like vaporwave and like now like kind of more like gothic metal and like funeral doom and shit like that. Going beyond that and going beyond even like the sphere of metal, just kind of just making it my own thing. I feel like that's why I consider myself Cybergrind more than like a Nintendo Core artist.
I think the Nintendocore thing comes through with like, and I'm so glad that Natty Gray from Cult Love like said this about you guys in your Spotify bio.
Oh yeah.
The Castlevania influence, like that's the very first thing that I thought of when I started hearing your guys' stuff. Is like that sounds like a metalcore Castlevania theme, and
Oh yeah.
because I've listened to some of your other interviews, I know where that comes from, and it comes from like the power metal, like Nightwish side of your stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. And also like the Toho games, like that soundtrack's like huge. I've actually like never really listened to Castlevania, funny enough, or any of the soundtrack from that game. But it's like cool that people have like, kind of pulled that from my stuff, and I can definitely like see it.
It's like that
But
gothic symphonic, like
oh yeah, oh
within
yeah,
temptation epica type of thing that you've got
oh
going
yeah.
through.
No, yeah, like 100%. Like I grew up on like Stradivarius, fucking Sonata Arctica, Rhapsody, Nightwish, shit like that. And like a lot of the last album was influenced by like Cradle of Filth too. So like, yeah, uh, definitely like on that wave. In conclusion, I think like Nintendo Core and like Cybergrind are like one and the same, but like it really just depends on like what flavor of Nintendo Core and what flavor of Cybergrind. Because there's also like that like side of Cybergrind where it's just like really like more on the grind side, like Agoraphobic Nosebleed, the Berserker, shit like that, where it's like less like tronic influence, but it's in there, but like it sounds like grindcore. And I think that shit's cool too. But I just like melodic stuff. I don't know.
No, and that definitely comes through. I gotta ask, so you're doing it all in music like creation software, like just with synths and stuff. That includes the bass and drums, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That's
drums are programmed, the
insane
bass is
to me,
programmed.
only because you betrayed the ones you love. That fucking bass is so full and like just like you can hear the like plucks happening as it's playing. What fucking T-Pain synths are you finding?
So like for that one, I have this like contact plugin called Super Audio Cart, and like they have this one preset in it that like basically is supposed to like emulate the Banjo Kazooie bass from like Nintendo 64. And like I just like ran that
Oh,
through
you
like
couldn't have made me happier by bringing up Banjo. Oh,
oh
this is a
yeah.
good time.
And then I ran it through a Dark Glass simulator, amp simulator, and yeah, there's a lot of distortion and shit.
That's fucking crazy to me. As
Yeah.
somebody who's like only just starting to like get into like writing music and like even figuring out how to use editing stuff like that. Like it sounds like somebody is like it sounds like the Last Movements record, how much bass
Oh,
is on
that's
that
awesome.
fucking thing.
No, thank you so much. Trying to get
It's very
more
important to get the
Badger.
cat in the shot.
Oh yeah. I think he's like a little bit too low to get fully into shot, but like,
You
I'm
can see
getting
the
as
belly
much
and
of
that's all
him.
that's necessary.
Exactly, yeah. I'm giving him nice belly rubs and he's just chilling. But yeah, no, thank you. I really appreciate that. I try my best to like make it sound realistic, but also like still like fit everything else that's going on. Because everything else is going on is just like synths and like other like video gamey sounding shit. So like I kind of wanted to keep that, but like still have it sound not really like corny or anything.
You brought up Banjo. We've talked about Castlevania. I can't imagine that you're not a video game player just based on the music that you make. What have you been playing recently?
Um, what I've been playing least recently. Been playing like Kirby Air Ride, of course. I mean, that's like always a constant. Like I'm constantly always playing Kirby Air Ride. A couple like Yuminiki like fan games. Like I'm replaying this one fan game called Dot Flow. Very niche shit. Like already like a niche fan game of like a niche game, but just like RPG Maker type shit. What else have I been playing? Oh yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that game's like always just like a fun game to play. I'm also like playing this like mod where like instead of winning like one card per duel, you win like 15 cards per duel. Um, so you just get like more cards and you can like easily like more easier like get like rare shit. But yeah,
I've been mostly just like shitting on kids in Fortnite for the most part. I don't know
nice.
what
Hell yeah.
happened. I think like ever since Zero Build came out, like everybody's been back on the Fortnite train.
Yeah, no, that's what I've been hearing. Like a lot of people are Fortniting it up, battle royaling it out. I played a little bit of Fortnite. Not like a crazy amount, but I fuck with some Fortnite.
The one game that I'm excited about that I don't know how many other people are. I know there's a couple of friends that I have. There was a Nintendo Partner Direct recently where they announced that there's a new Endless Ocean game coming out. And I don't know who the fuck else played Endless Ocean, but that was my shit when I was like 10 years old.
Hell yeah. I actually have not played that game, so I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's a good weekend. The Game Grumps has a good playthrough of the sequel, Blue Ocean or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, cool. I'll check that out. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah. You were talking about the MySpace side of your sound and how much like that side of things has influenced what you do. When we come back, we are going to be going deep dive. We're going to be deep diving into one of the most classic of the MySpace Cybergrind influencing albums that could possibly exist. We will be right back. We were with Blind Equation. We'll be right back with more of the Cuddlepunk podcast. Welcome back to the Cuddlepunk podcast. I am here with James from Blind Equation. I have often said that Cybergrind is nothing more than crab gore for trans girls. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to look into an absolute crabcore classic right now. Because right now what we're going to do is James and I are going to be ranking every single song on I Set My Friends on Fire's debut record, You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter. James, you told me that this is a personal favorite of yours, one that you can go up and down on. I personally have only started listening to this record in preparation for this. I've heard a couple of songs on it in passing, but I had not gone in and dived in to the official album just yet. Tell me about
Oh
your
yeah.
history with this record.
Yeah, so I Set My Friends on Fire is a very important band to me. I discovered them when I was like, I can't remember exactly when. I was like 11 or 12 or something. I used to watch Smosh a lot, and they did that
I was gonna
sex
say it
ed.
was there was a Smosh video with "I Set My Friends on Fire" on it.
Yeah. they had the Six and Rocks video, and I was like, haha, this is funny, but also like, I mean, I wasn't like super into like metal with like screaming in it. Like at that point, I was like into like power metal, like Dragon Force, Stradivarius, and shit like that, and like a little bit Disturbed and like Coheed and Cambria, shit like that. But no, like that was like still like kind of new to me, and like I feel like that song was like kind of my gateway because like um you could read the lyrics like on screen too, and like it was a little bit more like digestible for someone who had not like really like grew up or like had not like previously listened to a lot of like bands like that. And I feel like the band that like kind of made a click for me was like Kill Switch Engage. I think I discovered them a couple months after that. So I definitely owe like I said my Friends on Fire and Smosh, I guess, a lot to my music taste nowadays. And I eventually like bought the entire album You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter when I was like 14 or 15, and like um yeah, I mean Things That Rhyme with Orange was like a huge like song for me, and like it's same with the rest of the album, like because of like I don't know, like there's just a lot of different like different styles, genres, and like sounds like and electronics kind of just being mixed into this album, and like I had not heard anything like it before. And it was also humorous too. It had like the funny intro, it had the Crank That cover, yeah, no, it was just a I don't know. And like it's still like held up from then to today. Like I still listen to it. I'm just like, damn, like it is crazy because like they were like 16 or 17 when they were writing that album. Like, and it's like very well written and like very well produced. And yeah, and I've seen them like a billion times. Blind Equation has played with them. My other band Portal has played like countless shows with them. Like every time they come to Illinois, I try to see them. I booked them twice, so like they've crashed at on my couch before. So I definitely have a history with the band beyond just like being a fan from when I was like in high school. But yeah, no, amazing band, amazing album, very good album. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So number 12 for me is probably the interlude. Um like I think it's like fine, it gets the job done, but it's not really something that like when I'm listening to the album, like I really like make sure I listen to that. Like sometimes I'll just skip it, I think it's like good, it's well written, but like it just sounds like a garage band loop. No offense to anyone innocent pop listening to this, but uh yeah.
I think that's fair. For me, as somebody who was coming in new to the record, I appreciated it in the experience of listening to the full album because I
It's a nice
the
little
album's
break.
great. It's exactly. It's a nice little like serene break from like the album's great, but it's like all intensity all the time and it never really lets up. It's nice to and it can be a harsh listen, and I think it's nice to have that little moment of just like calm and peace, at least to an extent, when the interlude comes up.
Oh yeah. And also I feel like it's a great segue into Ravenous Ravenous Rhinos. Yeah, but I still rank it like 12. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, number 11.
Yeah. Yeah, number
Cool.
11.
Number 11 is probably hardcore two-step.
Mm,
I
that one hurts. That one hurt. That
Yeah,
was one of my favorites on the whole thing. It's so stupid. I love it.
it's so like it is so stupid. Like I do love it, and like when I was like growing up, like I used to listen to it like all the time. I think it's good, but like I just feel like certain parts of it just didn't like age well for me. But like I mean
There are definitely some lines on there that I would not have gone through. What I like about hardcore two step, like I'm a big Insane Clown Posse fan,
oh yeah,
and it's not just the lyric. It feels like a rated R version of an ICP song, rather than like ICP usually being like rated X material.
right,
But
yeah.
then also like I feel like whoever's like rapping on that point, they sound like Shaggy Two Dope to a certain
Oh,
extent, and
oh
I think
yeah,
that's really funny.
I can see that. Yeah, I think it's a really good song. I feel like it I feel like it could do without the moans just because like then like whenever like that happens, like I just feel like okay, I cannot play this song like around anybody. But
No.
But
This is prime scaring the hose music. That song
no,
is
it's
at
true.
least.
Yeah. Oh, totally. But no, I think it's a good song. Like it's like catchy, you know. And like it, you know, it teaches you how to two-step in the song. So you know, I don't think it's a bad song. Like it's just like in comparison to the other songs on the album, like I think there's just better out there.
That's totally fair. Shit, it talks. I'm out of here because it's just an intro for the most part.
I think it definitely deserves like a 10 out of 12.
My only thing with this part of it is that I feel like the squealing fangirl who is like meant to be like this it's presented as this like vile disgusting creature. Her voice is kind of like what Will Ramos ended up doing near the end of To the Hellfire.
Oh yeah, or like the Cal Decapitation, the Travis Ryan like kind of goblin voice. I just always like, I guess like because it's only auditorial, so you can't really like envision what this person looks like, who's like doing the "Ooh, Matthew, like that kind of voice. Ooh, Matthew, or I don't know, scare my cat. But I just picture it as like a little green alien or like a goblin of sorts. Then you just have like the crowd of people, like because I picture it like they just played a show, then they're going like backstage, and then they encounter this creature, then the creature just takes them on the journey of the album. I don't know. Like I think the entire album's great, but like there's songs that like I would rather listen to this than like other songs on the album. And I feel like it's also just a great intro and like it's funny and like it's not like it is the intro, but like a lot of times like if I'm listening to an album and like I just want to like start listening to songs, like sometimes I'll just skip the intro. I like never skip the intro for this one. So number 9, probably Crank That. I think like their cover of Crank That is obviously like legendary and like is what like a lot of the success that the band has like gotten is definitely owed to that song. And like the re-recording of it is very beautifully done and like the ending breakdown like goes hard as fuck. But I mean I just think that a lot of their a lot of their like original songs on the album are better, you know. Um but
I would give
I
that
still think.
song its I would give that song its respect just because it did, and whether or not this was a good thing or a bad thing, that depends on the person, but they did kind of like start the whole like emo covers type thing. Like
Oh
other
no,
than me personally,
100%.
gimme gimmes, like they started the whole like screamo, pop goes punk, punk goes pop like style of that kind of cover. And whether or not that one is anybody's favorite, and whether or not that's been like a good thing as a whole, everybody has a couple of Punko's Pop songs that they go back to.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like yeah, it's definitely like a very culturally important song. Like I'm not like just that's not like a bit, like genuinely. Like they're like one of the first to do it and like
It's the
they're a
song
band
that
that
kind of
literally.
defined the scene for a while, whether positively or negatively. Like that cover of Crank That is what people thought of as like MySpace scene music for a while.
Oh yeah, 100%. Shit goes hard. Yeah. Number 8, I put what the fuck would Jesus do? WTF WJD. I think it sounds very similar to like a couple other songs, but like shit goes hard. Like I really like a lot of like the weirdest and like like that shit. Like that shit's so sick. And also like the ending chant is very sick. Whenever they play it live, it's always a good time. They don't play it live like too often, but whenever they do, I'm just like, I like this song, you know. Definitely like, stronger songs on the album, but I like that one. It's a good song.
I like that this one doesn't have like too much of like a build up to it at the beginning. Like this is one of the songs on the record that it just goes straight into it. It feels kind of like this feels like a Dance Gavin Dance song in a way.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
But they're
Like
ripping
old.
on like bands that Dance Gavin Dance would go on to inspire. They're ripping on them throughout the entire record. Like my favorite thing about this record is that their tongues are almost bursting through their cheeks. That's how
Oh
tongue
yeah.
and fucking cheek this record is.
No, it's like so cleverly like
It's if
that.
this ain't a scene, it's an arms race by Fall Out Boy was a fucking entire album just dissing screamo kids.
Oh yeah. Uh, you already know. Next song, but the nuns are watching. I feel like a lot of people would like place this much higher than me, but I think it's like a really good song, there's a lot of like really good like moments. You got that like middle breakdown going on. The like ending where it's like kind of goes more chip tuney. It's like this sounds like chip tune pop and like has like the classic like beginning like kind of like gang vocals going on. There's a lot of really cool shit going on in the song. And it's just like a fun song.
That one was one of my personal favorites while listening to the record. I think that
Hmm.
one is like that's one of the ones where like the melodic stuff and the hardcore stuff, I think it blends the best on that song.
Oh yeah.
Whereas on the other ones, it can feel like two separate pieces that like they come together well, but they're definitely ordered in a certain way. These one, it like really comes together really well on that one.
Yeah. Also, I forgot that fucking breakdown was like then like the like chip tune synths go like it's like
Yes,
dissonant and shit like that. Yeah, that shit's like so hard. Um, they're
I'm
really
such a
cooking with that
fucking
one.
sucker for dissonance shit.
Yeah, no, that shit's so sick. But there's songs on this album that I like more. But that song still like all these songs, like I might like say like, oh, I don't like it as much as this, but like in comparison to like other bands, like this album, like I like a lot more than a lot of other things. Like the interlude, I'd still like it would be like a 7 out of 10. Like in the yeah. Anyways, so like these are all like very like neck and neck with each other.
Totally.
But next song for me would probably be ASL. I that song's really cool, and also just like the ending, like sort of like fast like chanting. Yeah, no, that song's just very brutal, very melodic.
This album does gang vocals extremely fucking well.
Oh yeah, 100%. It sounds like very natural and like not like corny at all. Yeah, no, I really like ASL, and I also just like is a testament to like the era of when the album came out. Like very
Absolutely.
MySpace. Like just right there with the song title. Number 5 on my list is Brief Interviews with Hideous Men. I know it's more of an introductory song, and like a lot of people would like rank it lower because of that, but like I just think it like goes hard as fuck, and like every time I hear it, like I just want to like fucking like punch something. Like, and every
It
time
is
they
a
play it live,
song that lets you know if you're going to like the record right off the fucking bat, and I appreciate it a
oh
lot for
yeah.
that.
No, yeah, and like even like the melodic parts that do happen in that song, like are just so beautifully written and like yeah, and it's just like the heaviest. I feel like it's the heaviest that the album gets to. Like that's like literally like if like a hardcore band like cover that at like some like hardcore fest of sorts. Like yeah, no, I really like that song. Number 4 for me
Number 4.
would be Ravenous Ravenous Rhinos. I feel it's definitely like one of their more popular songs. So like obviously that's gonna be like higher in the list, but also just like you just get a little bit of everything with that song and like very catchy. The pop moments really shine through. Beginning's like super fucking memorable and like, what the fuck. Like literally what the
Absolutely.
fuck.
That's
And
another one of the like that's where the
it's
hardcore shit
classic.
really comes through is the call outs. And again, the gang
Hmm.
vocals are just perfect on this record. I'm absolutely
Thanks, man.
obsessed with the green tea Arizona pillows, by the way. I just need to say that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. They just had them on the Arizona website. I was just like, yo, I need this. And
Arizona's got
yeah,
really good merch.
they do. They like know their target audience. So number 3 for me is easily Beauty is in the Eyes of the Beer Holder. I think it has like the strongest chorus, very energetic, like just like I just get like a fucking like serotonin rush whenever I listen to it. I just feel like it's like definitely just one of the strongest songs that's not like one of the main singles. But yeah.
But this is probably the most like Dillinger Escape Plan esque the guitars get on this fucking thing, which is always a good time.
Oh yeah. No, this one's like just like definitely the most like intense
The
one
most
of the
mathy, I would
song.
say. Like it's not the
Oh
most
yeah.
complicated, but it's like going so crazy that it just sounds like math rock.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's like it just switches like styles and like there's just like the piano by itself at the beginning too and like also not like breakcore but like the drums are doing the breakcore beat too and like over like no distorted guitars but just like clean guitars and shit like I don't know whenever like they do that and on this album like it's so sick. um
It's absolutely insane to me that this record came out on fucking Epitaph.
yeah, no, insane.
Like Brett from Bad Religion's record label Epitaph, smashed by the Offspring Epitaph, put this record out. That's there. What is he like? Does not care about looking cool with the bands that he signs, and I very much appreciate that about Brett.
No, that's awesome. Although I will say they did shelve the do you know the lore about their second album, Puff?
I don't know much of the lore about them, but I can get based on the like social media nonsense that they've had to be doing for the last couple of years. I can imagine that they were not treated the best by that label.
Yeah, so like I mean obviously I'm not like everything, happens, like they signed a deal, like, it is what it is, but like they like wrote their second album and then it got like shelved by the label and like they just had like rewrite the album. Uh and then like Nabil, the like second member, like quit the band during that. So basically like Matt like rewrote the second album, Astral Ejection. Then it because like I guess like the one they originally wrote like wasn't like weird enough, like wasn't experimental enough and shit. And like the label like just didn't like how like sort of like playing it sound, but like they eventually re-released like the old version of the album like a couple of years ago. It's really good. Although I have the hot take of liking the one that they ended up redoing more just because like it's definitely a lot more cyber grindy and like there's a lot more like electronics like electronic experimentation. It's just like it doesn't sound like any other album. Like it's fucked up. Like a lot of people didn't like it because like it didn't sound anything like You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter. But like I have the hot take of like really loving like the one that Epitaph actually put out. But I just find it interesting that like they wanted something weirder, which I mean I guess like makes sense, given like the band's weirdness, But I feel like a lot of people want bands to like play it safe. So it's like interesting when a label's like take more risks. Number two, Reese's Pieces. I don't know who John Cleese is.
I appreciate you as a power metal fan not putting the 6 minute track at number one.
it was very close. Because I am a sucker for like just long epic songs. As you could guess. Like I don't know. Ever since I was young, like I just like if there was like a 9 minute song on the album, like that would be usually be my favorite. Like I would just be like, hell yeah. And I'm just always a sucker for like just long epic songs, like it's definitely like a lot to sort of like stomach, but no, this song like just hits all the strengths of the band like at the right spots, and like the ending like
That
it's
ending
just
is
like
crazy.
filled with like it's insane and just filled with so much emotion, and like the synths like complement it so well. Just everything's super done so well on this song, and like it's like this is the perfect like closer for the album, and like yeah, no, I fucking love this song. Yeah,
And at number one, I was hoping that this it's the main one, but I was hoping it would
yeah.
be number one because it is the best thing they've ever made. What's number one?
Things that rhyme with orange, of course. I mean, I don't
It's
know,
so
like
good. It's a perfect neon pop song.
no, literally, like I don't know how to describe it. Like it's just like structured and like written just so well, and like it's so catchy, and like that intro like is just iconic, and like I kind of wanted to go into this being like, well, actually, this is not even a top three song, but it is, like it's deserving of its spot. And like every time I like see them play it, like, you know, whenever I see them play it live, like I just get like that's like I'm just like this is like my favorite part of the set.
I haven't heard a band that mixes like the electronic and the heavy and the pop stuff this well. I hadn't heard a band who did that this well since I set my friends on fire until Electric Cowboy came out.
Yeah, I like need to like listen to their new stuff because I've heard it's like very good.
It's
Um,
awesome. It's like it deserves all the viral nonsense that it's been getting. Like they are a band that I think has a long they give off a very Steel Panthery vibe, which I always appreciate.
oh
We
yeah,
have just ranked all of the songs on You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter by I Set My Friends on Fire. James, thank you so much for being on this episode of the Cuddlepunk
oh,
podcast. Where can we find you and where can we find Blind Equation?
thanks so much. I really appreciate you having me. So Blind Equation, like on all the socials, it's just Blind Equation, no spaces, nothing crazy. Just the words blind equation together. Just the that's the handle on everything. No one else has taken that handle. So Hopefully that stays that way.
The album from last year, Death Awaits, is so good. It's so incredible. I'm so excited to see what you guys have coming up in store in 2024. You can find video versions of the Cuddlepunk podcast on YouTube, and you can find audio versions of the Cuddlepunk podcast on any podcast platform that you choose. You can find me, Veronica Vext, at Veronica_Vext on most social medias. If you like what you've been listening to or watching and you want to help support the show, please consider pledging to the Cuddlepunk podcast Patreon. You can find a lot of cool stuff there for either $3 or $5 a month. Please make sure to like, comment what your favorite song on Not You Can't Spell Slaughter Without Laughter is down in the comments below of the YouTube video and in all of the comments on all those podcast platforms. Please like and please make sure to subscribe or follow on any of the platforms that you're using. The logo for the Cuddlepunk podcast is done by Lauren Young. You can find her Instagram in the description below. The theme song for the Cuddlepunk podcast is Lose a Turn by Modify. You can find links to all of her stuff in the description below. James from Blind Equation, thank you so much for being on this episode.
Thanks for having me.